So the other day I was catching up with one of my buddies and we decided to open up our letterboxes and we were having a phone call just going over like this is what I watched back then and this is what I watched and we were catching up and recommending each other movies and then we kind of had like a Seinfeld season 4 moment when they're working on the show Jerry and Jerry is trying to figure out like what will my show Jerry be about and he and George are at the diner and George goes that's a show. This is a show. And so we kind of had that moment, and I was like, you know what? That's a video. So we will go over my letterboxd in 2025, everything I watched in 2025. I know it's kind of a random video for the middle of May. I don't know. I just didn't think about it in January. Although I did do a video going over my 31 days of Halloween. So maybe when we get to October, I might be a little bit quicker going through those since I did like a more in-depth video about everything from this past October. So we are starting with I had gone through an Al Pacino phase at this time, so I was watching a bunch of Al Pacino movies because I had read his memoir. So the first movie I watched in 2025, which I think I watched 177 or 76 maybe movies in 2025. I started the year off with a double feature of Donnie Brasco and Body Heat. I really loved both of those movies. They were awesome. And then I watched Serpico, which is a bit of a letdown because you got prime Al Pacino, you got Sidney Lumet directing the movie, and to be honest, it was just okay. I liked the premise of Serpico, but it was just at times a little bit just bland, and it wasn't very exciting, to be honest. Then I watched Blues Brothers, which I gave it 5 stars, mostly because of the Chicago stuff, because I'm a Chicagoan, and I just love the jokes like, 1060 West Addison? Wait a second, that's Wrigley Field. And then David Lynch died, so I ended up watching The Straight Story. I wanted to watch a David Lynch movie I hadn't seen before, and I think at that point it was just The Straight Story and Dune, and I think only The Straight Story was streaming. But I also didn't want to watch Dune. David Lynch doesn't even like Dune, so I was like, well, I'll watch The Straight Story. And then I watched the movie The Insider, and that was my January. Did not watch very many movies in January. In February, I started off with Sea of Love, incredible Al Pacino movie. That was the only time I've seen this movie, and I think I'm probably gonna rewatch it soon. Then I watched The Iron Claw. I'll be honest with you guys, there's not a lot of movies that make me cry. I'm not a big crier at the movies, okay? There's maybe like 3 movies I can name that have made me cry. The Elephant Man, The Iron Claw, and Paths of Glory. The Iron Claw, oh my goodness, I was like sobbing at the end. It was actually, oh my god, that's such a good movie. Then The Substance, which is where my Margaret Qualley, I don't actually know how you say her last name, obsession began. And then I was also in my William Friedkin phase around this time because I had also read his memoir, autobiography, whatever, and I watched To Live and Die in L.A. Oh Man, He's Just Like Me, the movie. And then I watched Oddity, and then Sorcerer, which is an amazing movie. I love Sorcerer so much. House of Gucci, good movie. I think it was a little bit long though. I think it was like 3 hours. I don't think I would rewatch it, but it was a solid movie. Insomnia, great movie. Bug, also a great movie. The Devil's Advocate. Recently I watched the Al Pacino movie And Justice for All, which was good, except I didn't like some of the side characters. Some of the side characters were like way too, like it didn't make sense. Maybe I could get into that a little bit, we'll see. But I thought And Justice for All and The Devil's Advocate would make a great double feature. I way prefer Devil's Advocate. I gave Devil's Advocate 5 stars. And Justice for All, maybe I gave it like 3.5, maybe, or 4 stars. But Al Pacino's a lawyer in both. But in like Devil's Advocate, you've got like the whole demonic angle, and it's just like really crazy and just fun. So that would be a great double feature. But and Justice for All, some of the side characters just kind of make no sense. Like they give a scene where like his lawyer buddy is just like he has literally gone crazy and he's like destroying like the courthouse, and then the next scene everybody's like, he could still practice law. He's cool. It just like kind of, there was stuff in that movie that didn't make a lot of sense. We got Single White Female and then Single White Female 2. We've got the movie Scarlet Street, which I really love, one of my favorite. I'm not entirely sure actually if Scarlet Street counts as noir, but if it does, one of my favorite noir movies. The definition of noir is kind of up in the air. It really has no definition. Girl Interrupted, fantastic movie, amazing. I Can Fix Her, the movie. Continuing with my William Friedkin phase, I watched the movie Jade, which I really dug. There are 2 cuts of Jade. I don't think I watched the director's cut. I think I watched the regular cut. I think that's the only one I have. Then I watched The Bride Wore Black. Oh my goodness, by the way. I had such a streak of like 5-star movies in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 in a row. Imagine that. So Scarlet Street and Girl Interrupted, 5 stars. I gave Jade 5 stars. And then there's The Bride Wore Black, based on one of my favorite books ever by Cornell Woolrich. 5 stars. Amazing movie. Then we've got a little bit of a Roman Polanski phase with Bitter Moon, The Ninth Gate, and Death and the Maiden. All 3 of them 5 stars. And then my Roman Polanski phase kind of like ended a little bit when I watched The Fearless Vampire Killers, because it was sort of like an homage to like boomerish kind of, I don't know, Hammer movies, and I've never seen any of the Hammer movies. I have no desire to. If you guys have ever seen like any like dumb horror movies where it's like these people will like wander a castle for like an hour and a half, and then you have like 5 minutes of like gore at the end or whatever. That's my impression of the Hammer horror movies. I have not watched these, but from everything that I can tell, that's how the Hammer movies seem. Like, oh yeah, do you want to watch this guy like walk around and go, "Good evening," and "What's the matter, my dear?" and "Ooh," and everyone's just boring. That's my impression of Hammer movies, and yeah, The Fearless Vampire Killers I feel was like an homage to that, and I just didn't really dig that one. But I gave it 2 stars because the cast actually they're really cool, but the story and stuff, and I just didn't like it. We're in March, by the way. As I mentioned that, Jade starts March. So Girl Interrupted ended February. Jade starts March. After Fearless Vampire Killers, I was in a bit of my Ira Levin phase, who's a great author, and I watched A Kiss Before Dying from 1991. I think they might have made this movie like maybe 2 or 3 times, but I've seen just the 1991 version. I give it 3.5 stars. It is a really fun movie, but it drops the ball at the end. The end of the book is very exciting, and I don't know how they handled it in the other movies, in the other adaptations of this book. But in 1991, it just kind of like ends. It just kind of peters out. In the book, you have like this just really cool, exciting, I won't like spoil it and all, but it's just like a really cool, intense ending. And then in this movie, it's just like, I'm just gonna like run around a little bit and be boring. So it drops the ball. Sliver was next, also based on the book by Ira Levin, which is not his best book, but it is entertaining, and it was a fun little thriller movie. I gave it 4 stars, and then I was like, well, am I sure I'm done with my Roman Polanski phase? So then I had a rewatch of The Tenant, which I gave 5 stars. Wonderful movie. And then I was gonna do a stream with one of my buddies, and we were gonna do a stream on his channel. So we each picked a movie for the other one to watch. I saw Jade. I was like, you should watch Jade. He saw a movie called Fair Game, and he's like, I love Fair Game. You should watch Fair Game. He hated Jade. I hated Fair Game, and we never did a stream. But we always talk about it. We're always like, yeah, we should stream soon. Next, so that was the end of March. Now we're in April. I started off with Mississippi Mermaid, which is based on Waltz into Darkness by Cornell Woolrich. It's directed by Francois Truffaut, who directed The Bride Wore Black. And also the movie Original Sin is also based off the same novel. Mississippi Mermaid, I gave it 3 stars. I was really hoping that Francois would do something different with the book. Now, it's not Cornell's best book. and it's definitely not his worst, but it is just kind of like an average book, and it is pretty long. Um, Outside of changing the setting, the location, he really didn't do anything new with the material, and it just fell a little bit flat for me. I was really hoping he would have fixed my problems with the book, but he didn't really do anything with it. So, I mean, it was okay. It's not a terrible movie. There's worse ways to spend like an hour and 50 minutes, but it was just, 3 stars, just kind of average movie. Then we got Copland, which is pretty cool. I liked it a lot. We got The Shadow over Innsmouth. I think this was a short film, probably. It's from 1992. I think it was probably like a 40-minute thing. The Devil's Rain, I gave it half a star. I remember nothing about this. Motel Hell, I gave it 2 stars. I know everybody loves this movie. I can't really get into it. I've tried, and I finally did watch it all the way through. I think the first 2 times I tried, I just turned it off. I got bored. I went through the whole thing. I liked the chainsaw fight at the end in the last like 3 minutes. I would say Motel Hell, just watch the chainsaw fight. Then this is like a month into me having joined a gym, so I was like all motivated. So Pumping Iron was on YouTube, so I just like had it in my earbuds during my workout, and I was like, you know what, hell yeah, I'm gonna start my Arnold phase. I love Arnold so much. So after Pumping Iron, I watched The Terminator, and for the first time, well, actually, okay, I shouldn't say for the first time. When I was a little kid, I don't know what I saw. Maybe it was like some documentary on the History Channel or something. I don't know, but something had mentioned The Terminator, and I was like, oh my god, this looks so cool. I was like really little. I was like, oh my god, this looks freaking amazing. So my sister worked at Blockbuster, and I said, like, can you get me this movie, The Terminator? So she brings it home, puts it on for me, and I don't remember really anything that happened except for when it got to the sex scene. I was so freaked out, I like ran out of the room, okay? That was my only memory of Terminator. And that sex scene is still horrific. It's like the worst sex scene in like probably the history of sex scenes. But I love The Terminator. I gave it 5 stars. I do like it more than T2, which is the first watch I had in May. So Terminator ended April, and then T2 started in May. I did like it a lot, but and the twist in there is like one of the coolest twists I've ever seen. But I just much preferred the first one. And then I had to rewatch a Gremlins, which it does sound random, but I was babysitting my little cousin, and I was like, hey, why don't we watch a movie? And then I just put on Gremlins, and we enjoyed it. It was like my 180th time seeing Gremlins. And then I decided I would watch the rest of the Terminator movies. So I watched Terminator 3, which I gave 3 stars. It wasn't as bad as everybody says, but it's absolutely nowhere near 1 and 2. And then I watched Terminator Salvation, and I give it half a star. It's called Terminator Salvation. It's almost like Exorcist 2, The Heretic, where I'm just like, well, who was the heretic? I don't know what the salvation was supposed to be. And then I watched Terminator Genisys, which, okay, I gave it 3.5 stars. It's not so bad. I know it was nostalgia bait. I know that is the point in the series where they're like, nostalgia bait, right? Remember you liked all these things? It worked on me. I liked it. I didn't like the whole thing. It had a lot of problems, but I was like, hey, it was fine. I didn't have a bad time with Genisys. Terminator Dark Fate, I gave it half a star, and just like Terminator Salvation, I don't know exactly what the Dark Fate was. Then one of my favorite noir movies, Too Late for Tears, I gave that one 5 stars. The Wizard of Oz, I gave it 5 stars. I don't think I logged every time I watched The Wizard of Oz, but my little cousin adores that movie, and so do I. And if we ever have to watch a movie, half the time it's The Wizard of Oz. So I've got like The Wizard of Oz committed to memory. I may not have logged it every time, but yeah, I probably... I'm at 170 something movies in 2025. If I logged The Wizard of Oz every time, it probably puts me past 200. A Complete Unknown, good movie. I took off half a star though because we didn't get to see the part where Bob Dylan sells his soul. So I kind of needed that in a biopic. Matilda, I had not seen this since I was a child. I didn't really remember anything about it, and then I showed it to my little cousin, and I really enjoyed it. Death Machine from 1994. I gave it 1 star. One of my buddies was like, "Oh, but it's just like Terminator. Like it's like a ripoff. Like watch it." I did not like it at all. Total Recall. Oh my god, one of the best movies I've ever seen. I love that one to death. I love Arnold. Soylent Green. 1.5 stars. I hate how every boomer I know, they're like, "Oh my god, it's incredible." I'm just like, no, it's really not. I get it. Soylent Green is people, haha. Yeah, but the movie didn't have to be so boring until we get to that point, okay? It sucked. Cat's Eye was the last one that I watched in May, which was a rewatch and a really awesome movie. That was the end of May, and I didn't watch a ton in June because I had went on vacation, so we're like a little bit short in June. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back into my Roman Polanski phase. So I started with The Ghost Rider, which I give 3.5 stars to. I won't lie, a lot of that movie is people standing around talking, but I just feel like Roman Polanski is just like, if anybody's gonna make a movie about standing around talking interesting, it's him. So, cool movie. Super Size Me. I gave it 5 stars. I had seen this as a kid, and yet I still grew up to be obese. And I stopped being obese a few years ago. But I kind of needed something to listen to in the gym. In the gym, I put music sometimes, but I prefer like a podcast or something. And I was also, oh, another thing, Pumping Iron. I've probably seen it like 50 times now. I'll just put it on in the gym, like it's real motivating. And I kind of wanted something like along those lines. So I was like, oh yeah, Super Size Me. So I put that on. Saturday Night Fever, awesome movie. There is part of the ending I don't like that I think is actually a little gross, but or a lot gross actually. It's actually kind of horrifying. But besides that strange ending, I really like Saturday Night Fever. The Hot Spot, fun movie. Finally, I did watch Back to the Future Part 3. I don't know why. I just always expected that this one would be really bad. I don't know why. I know it was filmed back to back with Part 2. Part 2 is just so amazing, and I knew nothing would top it, and I was like, so I was hesitant. But then I finally watched it. It was good. I gave it 4 stars. Last Night in Soho, I gave it 3.5 stars. It has such a good, interesting beginning and a mystery to it, and I loved the style of filmmaking. And then I was even willing to look past a few problems I had with some of the side characters. I didn't like the boyfriend character at all, and I was willing to look past that because it was such an interesting story. But the ending is so dumb. It really did kind of ruin the movie for me. I did still give it 3.5 stars because the beginning is so good, and the main actress, she actually is really great. But honestly, with how bad the ending is, it might honestly bring it down, actually realistically, more to like 2 stars, like at best, probably. Then I watched Dressed to Kill, one of my favorite movies ever. In my top 5, I adore this movie, from my favorite director, Brian De Palma. Get Shorty was the final movie I watched in June. And then July starts with Showgirls, which I gave 5 stars to. I don't know how this movie has a reputation for being awful, or like it's like just so bad it's like good. Like no, like it's not like a so bad it's good thing. There's nothing bad about this movie. It's actually incredible. I loved Showgirls. We actually had a really good July with I'm just looking at these right now like, oh my god, this was great. July 3rd I watched Born on the 4th of July. And that movie was really awesome. And then I know this is going to be random for the 4th of July. So every 4th of July I have a tradition. I eat ribs and I watch Jaws. I don't know why I also watched Dead Ringers on the 4th of July. I know that's a random movie to be like, well, it's 4th of July. Dead Ringers! Twin gynecologists! Okay. I think I just like had some time and I was just like bored and I was just like, you know what, I'm watching Dead Ringers. So I like watched Dead Ringers, and then later when the ribs were ready, then I watched Jaws, which of course 5 stars. Lost Highway, 5 stars. Dragged Across Concrete, loved this movie, 5 stars. Brawl in Cell Block 99, 5 stars. You know what I hate? We get like what, like 10 Marvel movies a year, and like 15 like Marvel TV shows a year. We get an S. Craig Zoller movie once every 5 years. I hate that. I love his movies. I think he's only done like 3 movies that he's directed. He's written a couple others, including a Puppet Master movie, which was pretty fun. But the ones he's directed have all been great. Those 2 plus Bone Tomahawk, all of them great. They're spaced out like 5 years in between. I just don't understand why we can't have one of those, like just like one a year, one every 2 years. I need more S. Craig Zoller movies. Then in July, I watched Blowout, and then Casino. Casino, I do give it 3.5 stars because the cast is good, but it's basically like Goodfellas all over again. After Midnight from 1989, I gave it a star. After Midnight, which it was kind of like an awful, like, so I watched this on my birthday on the 11th. Kind of like an awful movie to watch on your birthday. I watched it because there was like a cool, like, stop motion sequence that I saw on Twitter, and me and my buddies were like, oh yeah, we should watch this. It was on Tubi. I watched it. I did not enjoy it. I gave it a star for that little sequence that was cool, but the rest sucked. And then normally on my birthday, I will have a marathon. I'll like double or triple or quadruple feature movies that I really enjoy. Or I'll maybe okay, let's say I'll like triple feature like 3 movies I enjoy, and then maybe I'll throw in like a 4th one that like I've never seen before or something like that. Since I had watched After Midnight and I was like, oh, well, I don't know what this movie is, you know, I was like, maybe I'll do another first time watch. I don't know. And then I put on Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978. I gave it 3 stars. Nothing bad, but I don't know. It was just okay. I think I really just had seen that done like a million times, so it didn't really leave an impression on me. The Stuff, love that movie. Sex, Lies, and Videotape, good movie. True Lies, I was trying to get back into my Arnold phase here. True Lies, awesome movie. The Doors, good movie. Lolita, amazing movie. I love Stanley Kubrick so much. It's like rare if I give Stanley Kubrick like under 5 stars. Oh my god. And then we got the worst Brian De Palma movie I ever watched. Obsession. Either this or maybe the one I just watched yesterday, Murder a la Mode? A la Mod? Might be the worst one. I don't know. But Obsession, I gave it half a star. It should be good. It's got like prime Brian De Palma directing this. It's got a Paul Schrader script. The main guy, whoever that actor is, I don't really know. He's not good at all, and then the story is just stupid, and I am dumbfounded because it's like another one of... So Brian has basically, in essence, like remade like a bunch of Hitchcock movies. And this was him trying to remake Vertigo, which sounds so awesome because Vertigo I've tried, and I really like the premise. It's just like, why is it so boring though? Because it's really cool, Vertigo. It's like this guy is trying to remake this lady into another lady that he knew that's dead, and he becomes obsessed and blah, blah, blah. It's like it's a cool premise. Every time I watch Vertigo, I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. It's like, no, it's like real cool. And it is cool, but it sucks. And I'm just like, if anyone's going to solve it, it's Brian De Palma. And I just like, I was so let down. I was just very let down. Then I saw Superman in the theater with my little brother and sister, and Superman, you know, I used to be a big comic book guy, and Superman was something that I really bonded with my little sister over, because there was one day when I left a Superman comic on my bed, and I got up from my bed, I don't know where I went, and when I came back, my little sister was on my bed, like she had picked it up and she had read the comic book, and she's like, do you have more of these? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then she read some Superman comics, and we just really kind of bonded over Superman comics and Supergirl too. And so even though I'm not like a big comic book guy anymore, and I don't really go to see the comic book movies, when Superman came out, it was no question. It was just what me and my sister had bonded over when she was little, and so we just, you know, we went to see that, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. After that, I was back in a little bit of a Stanley Kubrick phase, so I watched Barry Lyndon for the first time. Normally, I don't like movies where, I don't know if you call them like a costume movie, when they're in like the old timey, like, I don't know, like, this is my 1500s garb. I don't know actually what year it takes place. Maybe it's more like 17 or 1800s. Not really my thing, but, and it was 3 hours too, so I was like, oh my god, I'm probably gonna hate this. But I actually did really enjoy it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I only took off because it is a little bit long. I don't mind like a really good 3 hour movie, even though it does give me anxiety. Like, I'm gonna be like laying here for 3 hours, like, I'm gonna want to move. Um, but I really, it was just because it's like kind of like the material isn't normally my thing, so that's why I was like, yeah, well, 3 hours of this, even though it was awesome, I did take off half a star. And then Paths of Glory, my first time seeing that was the last watch of July. And I'll admit it, I was just bawling my eyes out at the end of that movie. And then now we're in August 2025. We got Weapons. I gave it 3.5 stars. This movie, The Birdcage, I gave it 4 stars. It was a recommend for my little sister. 4 stars. Kansas City Confidential, kind of noir-ish. I gave it 3 stars. It was alright. Together, in 2025, I gave it 5 stars. It was a fun movie. And then, one of Arnold's best movies, Eraser. Oh my god, I loved that. Blue Chips, William Friedkin movie. Love Blue Chips. I gave it 5 stars. Fargo, awesome movie, 5 stars. American Graffiti. I watched American Graffiti. I gave it 4 stars. I watched that on like, I think I was like sick or something, and then I like woke up at like 2 in the morning and I could not fall asleep again, and I think it was like 2:30 in the morning. I was like, I guess I'll just stay up because I couldn't fall asleep again. And I had like a few like Blu-rays in my room. Like, sometimes I'll keep like a little stack of like, these are the ones I'll watch next. And I just like reached in and I was like, American Graffiti. And so I watched American Graffiti at like 2:30 or like 3 in the morning. A little bit of a Coen Brothers phase. I do really love the Coen Brothers, and The Man Who Wasn't There, 5 stars. But then Miller's Crossing. I know everyone's like, it's their best movie. I gave it 2 stars. I just did not really feel it. And yeah, I don't know. It should have been like a movie I really loved, but I just didn't. And so that kind of like ended like my little Coen Brothers phase. We have M from 1931, awesome movie. In Cold Blood, I really dig this movie, and it's like the best edited movie I've ever seen in my life. The editing was just so kino. And then the final movie was The Asphalt Jungle, which 3 stars. It was just alright, and that's the last one of August. September starts with Tess, which I gave 5 stars to, a Roman Polanski movie. Amazing movie. And my review of this movie was, I was just rereading it for my buddy. Every time I watch a new Roman Polanski movie, it's like being a gift. It's like being given a gift directly from God himself. Tess, amazing movie. The Prowler, 1951, 3 stars. Honestly, reflecting on it more, it's probably more like 2 or 2.5. Night of the Hunter, 3.5 stars. This was a movie in the past I would have given 5 stars when I was more pretentious. But I think I kind of realized, like, the best thing about Night of the Hunter is Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum is, like, way up here, okay? And everybody else in the movie is, like, way down here. He's just so great. I feel like if this movie had a better cast, I really could justify giving it 5 stars like I used to. I like the story, but everybody is just so god-awful in it and annoying and over the top, especially the people that like own the ice cream place. They're so annoying. I hate their voices. And yeah, Robert Mitchum's just so cool. Then we've got Nightcrawler, awesome movie. Psycho, awesome movie. Burn After Reading, that was a fun movie. Poor Things, I gave it 3 stars. It's probably more like a 1-star movie. I don't know. I love the book a lot. I think the movie kind of like butchers it really bad, and it's just not good at all. And it makes the main characters kind of stupid. Emma Stone's amazing though, so that's why I was like, maybe I'll give it 3 stars for her. But then now I'm just like, but the movie kind of sucks, but she's awesome. The final movie I watched in September was The Apartment. that movie suddenly became one of my favorite movies ever. Billy Wilder's awesome, and it's very controversial to to say this, maybe, because everybody's like, no, his best movie is Sunset Boulevard. It's Some Like It Hot. It's Double Indemnity. Trust me, I mean, there are people that do put The Apartment as number one, but I feel like it might be sort of like, there might be like five other movies that people usually put as number one for Billy Wilder, and it's tough. It's not necessarily that it's controversial, it's tough. Because he's got the best Marilyn Monroe movie with Some Like It Hot. He's got the best noir movie with Double Indemnity. I wouldn't say it's the best movie about making movies, but it's up there with Sunset Boulevard. Pretty much every Billy Wilder movie is just amazing. And The Apartment, I was just blown away. I immediately had to put it in my Letterboxd top 4. So I had to end September with, I wanted to end it with something really good and kind of pretentious, because I was like, October is where we're going to watch a lot of garbage, okay? Let me drink some water. So, I did do a video separately on October, so I'll be a little more quick with some of these. But I do want to say, I'm not one of those people that'll like plan out their 31 days of Halloween. I'm not one of those guys that's like, on the 15th, this is what I'm going to watch. Like, I even saw, oh my god, I saw a meme, I don't know, a few months ago, where some guy had like these lists on Letterboxd, and he's like, these are the movies I'm going to watch in like 2028. And I was like, are you just retarded? You're waiting till 2028? Like, you have your 2028 planned out? Okay, buddy. I can't do that. And I wanted to do 31 days of movies I have not seen before. And I was debating about doing like, maybe I'll do 31 days of Vinegar Syndrome, because I've got a bunch of movies from Vinegar Syndrome that I have not watched, and that stack is like huge. And then I like approached that stack on the first day, and I was like, I do not want to start off with just hot garbage on day one. Let me look for something that's alright. So, I started off with Megan, which I gave 3.5 stars to. And then I watched Nope, which I can't believe my buddy recommended this one to me, because it sucks and I don't know why he recommended it. 0.5 star. I watched the movie Captives, which I gave 2.5 stars to. Really is probably more like 0.5 star. I think I was just kind of coping, because this is the same director as Video Violence 1 and 2, which are like the Godfather 1 and 2 of shot on video movies. And he's only made 3 movies. Those 2 plus Captives. And Captives, I was kind of coping. I was like, it's at least 2.5 stars, right? Nope. Dario Argento movie Trauma from 1993. Maybe his best movie, actually. I think I might like this one more than Suspiria. But I've only seen this one like once. I've seen Suspiria like 40 times, so I'll have to watch it a few more times. Something Wicked This Way Comes, good movie. Cutting Class, I mean, I liked the cast of Cutting Class, but I was bored. This random movie called Deadline. Vinegar Syndrome put it out. 3.5 stars. It actually wasn't too bad. The Monkey, 3 stars. The Cannibal Man, 1.5 stars. House on the Edge of the Park, 1 star. Night of the Demon, 1980, 2.5 stars. Oh my god. I tried watching this movie. I don't know how to say it. Norai, The Curse from 2005. It's a J-horror movie. 0.5 star. Teen Wolf, 4 stars. Happy Death Day, 5 stars. Happy Death Day to You, 3.5 stars. The Wolfman, 4 stars. I don't know why this movie gets hated on. It's different. Everyone just wanted, I think his name's Lee Whannell, they just wanted him to rehash The Invisible Man, which is an incredible movie, but I just don't understand this thing where like a filmmaker has a hit and then everyone's like, well, the next one has to be a carbon copy Blueprint. It's not that at all, and it's just different. And I think people hate it because it's different, but I mean, do you want like the same movie like 50 million times, or do you want something different? I don't know. The Collector, I give it 3 stars, and then the sequel, The Collection, 3.5. Shadow of the Vampire, 4 stars. Fright Night Remake, 3 stars. Edge of Sanity, 0.5 star. Return to Oz, 5 stars. The 20th, I did have a cheat day, Baby from Outer Space. It's a short film, but hey, I've done 31 Days of Halloween, maybe 5 years in a row now, without missing a day, because that's the rule. You have to watch one movie a day. You cannot double feature to make up for it if you miss a day. I was allowed one little cheat day of a short film, okay? Dangerous Animals, 4.5 stars, might have been best horror movie of 2025. Companion, 2 stars. Death Becomes Her, 5 stars. New York Ripper, 2.5 stars. Ravenous, 4.5 stars. Invisible Maniac, 3.5 stars. The Mangler, 2 stars. The Agfa Horror Trailer Show, 3 stars. Evil Laugh, half a star. Cursed, 2 stars. Ghostbusters, 5 stars. Halloween 3, 5 stars. That was my October. Then I started November with another short film, Diary of an Unknown Soldier. Sidney Lumet's final movie, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Awesome movie, 4 stars. The Running Man, awesome movie. I watched all 3 of the Naked Gun movies. They were all pretty cool. And then I watched Airplane. And then King of New York, amazing movie, 5 stars. I recommend for my little sister that I think I'd kind of give a generous 2.5 stars to, when it was probably more like a star, is To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. Well, she's not going to watch this, so she won't know how much I really disliked one of her favorite movies. I was just a little bored with it. East of Eden, 5 stars. And then I watched the bonus feature, Forever James Dean, probably like a little 45-minute bonus feature, also 5 stars. The Silent Partner, 4 stars. Frantic, a Roman Polanski movie starring Harrison Ford, 5 stars, amazing movie. It was on a double feature DVD with Presumed Innocent, which I gave 4 stars to. Frantic's just amazing. Femme Fatale, a rare, awesome Brian De Palma movie from after the 90s. It's like he stopped making good movies in the 90s. I don't know. This one's from 2002. I was actually blown away with how much I loved this movie. Hoosiers, I gave 2 stars to. It sucked. Mean Streets, good movie. The Fugitive, good movie. And I always laugh because I remember in Curb Your Enthusiasm, it might have been in the finale, I think, when Larry says that Cheryl didn't like Mexican food. And she's like, no, you can't tell people I didn't like Mexican food. And then he's like, can I tell people you didn't like the remake of The Fugitive with Harrison Ford? And she's like, yeah, okay. The Trial, 3 stars. The Conversation, amazing movie, 4 stars. Sanctuary, 5 stars. Killing Zoe, gave it 4 stars. And National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, 5 stars. That was my November. December. Megan 2.0, 5 stars. I don't understand the hate for this movie. It's great. She's Gotta Have It, 3 stars. Above the Rim, 3.5 stars. Fun movie. Poetic Justice, 5 stars. Training Day, I give it 3 stars. I thought I didn't really think it was like that amazing, like 4 to 5 star movie everyone says it is. I had some problems with it, but the performances are all pretty cool. So, Elf, I gave it half a star. I only watched this one to find something for my little cousin, and I did not like Elf. And then Miracle on 34th Street from 1947, 3.5 stars. Then I was in a Robert Altman phase to end 2025. Thieves Like Us, one of my favorite movies ever. That was a first time watch. It's just so good. 3 Women, another one. Probably my favorite Robert Altman movie. It's incredible, and it stars Shelley Duvall, and she is just amazing. I love her to death. And then we've got, this title is a mouthful, Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, Jimmy Dean. 4 stars, really cool movie. Brewster McCloud, I gave it 3.5 stars. I'll be honest though, I have no idea what went on in that movie. I was so confused. I just really did enjoy the cast a lot, and I thought it was kind of insane and crazy. But I Brewster McCloud, I don't know if I would ever rewatch that one, but it was kind of like unhinged that I was like, you know what, I respect it. I give it 3.5 stars. The Long Goodbye, 5 stars, great movie. And I think that's the end of my little Altman phase I had there. And then I watched Black Christmas, 5 stars. Apocalypse Now, 5 stars. Our Xmas, Abel Ferrara movie. Ferrara, I don't know. But 3 stars, it was alright. The Last Action Hero, 5 stars. Love that movie. That's like the best movie ever, is The Last Action Hero. The Big Heat, Last Action Hero and The Big Heat. That was my Christmas Day double feature. And then the December 31st, my final movie of 2025 was Sunset Boulevard. So that was my 2025 in movies. You know what? Let's check out like the little letterbox like stats part, because we could look at the stats here by year. Let's see my 2025. Let's see. 323.2 hours. 177 films logged, 14.8 average per month, and 3.4 average per week. I watched the most movies on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. My first film was Donnie Brasco, and last was Sunset Boulevard. And my little milestones. Total Recall was my 50th movie that I watched on May 19th. Poor Things was my 100th movie that I watched on September 26th. And then Presumed Innocent was number 150 on November 19th. And my top category was thriller, and then drama, and then horror, then crime, then comedy, then mystery, then sci-fi, action, romance, and adventure. Most of the movies I watched were from the USA with 153, and next was the UK with 30, then France with 21. And all but a few of these were in English. Let's see, 168 in English, so that's like less than 10 that were in other languages. And yeah, that was my 2020. Well, here's some more stats. My most watched actors were Arnold, Al Pacino, and Harrison Ford. And then directors were Roman Polanski, Robert Altman, and William Friedkin. And then Brian De Palma. So yeah, that's my 2025 in movies on my letterbox. So just a fun little video, like me and my friend were talking about, and I was like, why don't I just do a cool little rundown? We'll go through it ultra fast. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We got more stuff coming soon.